Colin.
The 8-Man was my favorite guy with Racist Dave and everything.
Yeah, and I'm still
and then I started listening to PTR exclusively, and then Colin, you're the guy.
And now, back to PTR Radio with Colin.
Yeah, there's at least going to be one person who's disappointed tonight.
You think?
Yeah, because no Colin tonight. Yep.
Well. Yeah, Colin was recently on a mission that he wound up coming down with some kind of rare disease.
Yeah.
That he's fighting at home. So we told him you gotta stay off the air, man. We don't want digital contagion to happen. So.
No, I mean, on the last show he told us he was heading to Disney again. But what he didn't say was he was there to clean out the lagoon that they do the Jungle Cruise in. So, hippo poop.
Well,
it causes all kinds of things.
Yeah. But we hope he's feeling better. I could say that he was just disgusted by the movie we have to review.
That is an understatement.
That might be an accurate statement.
Yeah. We didn't even find out if he watched the movie.
I don't know.
Boy, if there was a time I was going to tap out, I came really close.
And I'm running point on the review this week.
Uh-huh.
And I even was ready to tap out. But we'll get to that later on.
Yes, we will. So Mike, you're drinking something a little bit unusual for you on the show.
Yes.
So
I am drinking a Dunkin' spiked slightly sweet iced tea. However, I am backing it up with Old Faithful. I have taken to all right, so the short version of this story is I bought Happy Dad hard iced tea.
Okay.
Which is unsweetened, no bubbles, and phenomenally good. But I couldn't find it. So I was trying to find a substitute. This is not it.
So you're finding out what things aren't it. All right, gotcha.
This is I'm going to choke this bastard down.
Mm-hmm.
Because at 5% alcohol, it'll at least get the job done.
Yeah. Well, I am trying something different. I heard about this on a podcast the other day. So I am a big proponent, as it starts to get cooler, of Canadian Club and 7-Up. Okay. It's what my dad always drank. So I kind of grew up with it, if you will. But someone said a big thing in Canada is actually Canadian Club. Where's it at? There it is. Canadian Club, which in this case, I'm at a Canadian Club, so it's Canadian Mist. Same thing. And ginger ale.
Okay.
So we're going to see how that does. But
what is Canadian Club?
It's whiskey? A blended whiskey, yeah.
All right, so it'd be like Crown and ginger?
Yeah.
Which probably should, if
not
maybe
bad.
Like cream soda?
Well, ginger ale's not really like cream soda.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I gave it a decent amount of whiskey in there, and it's not terrible. It's definitely good.
Oh,
so
maybe I'm thinking of Captain and ginger.
Yeah.
Tastes like cream soda. Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. But not bad. Not a bad alternative. If you don't have any Sprite or 7-Up running around, if you got ginger ale handy, makes a good drink. So,
listen, ginger ale should be kept on hand more than Sprite.
I bought
for medicinal purposes.
I bought these little cans.
Yes,
just for the bar, because it's like, okay, you don't want to open a 2-liter just to make a cocktail, so it worked out well. So I kind of like that. So.
Yeah, here's another tip from Uncle Mike. The first one when it comes to alcohol is if you ever go to a bar and they have Keystone Light on tap, walk out. The next one, if they get their ginger ale from a can,
Mm-hmm.
you have two options: walk out, or tell them to leave the can.
Yeah.
This way, it's kind of like ordering fries at McDonald's with no salt. This way, you're getting a fresh thing of fries.
Yeah. You don't really want it to. Well, I mean, I worked at McDonald's, so I got all the, everybody came in. I want fries, no salt. I want a cheeseburger, no pickle. I want Dr. Pepper, no ice. I want, so we saw it all. So, there was nothing we didn't see. So,
Now, I did see something on Instagram that some fast food restaurants, if they don't actually have ginger ale, what they'll do is Sprite and just splash it with Coca-Cola till it's the color.
I can see that.
And pass that off. The problem being, a lot of people who order ginger ale when they're out is because there's no caffeine. Now, giving them caffeine.
True.
Oh.
Although, you couldn't. So one of our listeners saying, I prefer ginger ale over Sprite, and she's currently at home recovering from food poisoning. So
Where is this?
It's coming in through YouTube.
Oh, I don't see YouTube.
Yep. But yeah, ginger ale great for an upset tummy too. So
That's why I said ginger ale should be kept on hand because for the medicinal purposes.
Yeah. But if I'm going to go for something not for the, to not get the caffeine, I'm going for root beer. That's going to be my uncaffeinated soda of choice.
Well, fair point, but unless you're going to like a Stewart's, you're not likely you're going to get root beer.
Actually, it's on tap around here more often than not.
That must be a Midwest thing because Jersey, not so much.
Yeah, you'll find it
unless you
here.
go to one of those freestyle where they have the Coke freestyle machines like Burger King, then you'll be able to get some kind of root beer. But
around here you'll find it fairly often. A lot of times for kids. So,
okay, fair enough.
In fact, we've got A&Ws around here. You used to be able to go to an AW and get a gallon of root beer and take it home. So that's what my dad used to do that all the time. He used to go to a town here called Lincoln, and he would bring home, 1 or 2 gallons of, tapped root beer.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, well, we used to have a spring that you used to be able to just go and fill up jugs and get spring water in the park. And then suddenly this thing called the EPA came along and said, no, don't do that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, it probably wasn't the spring water. It was probably the microplastics they didn't want you to have.
Well, no, back then, trust me, it was, well, no, they found that because they stopped because somebody got sick and they just didn't want to test the water. So they just stopped letting people go and fill up their gallon jugs anymore.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Oh, well, there's many conspiracy theories about why they stopped letting you get the spring water straight from the spring there.
Do you think Coke or Pepsi got to him?
Perhaps.
Was it a Dasani conspiracy theory?
Oh, Poland Spring.
Yeah.
Like, hey, listen, we cornered the market on water straight from the ground. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Copyright infringement.
Yes.
Especially when you're using our gallon jugs to gather this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You see how it is.
Conspiracy theories. Gotta love them.
Yeah. Well, and we've got we've got a conspiracy theory article.
Of course we do. Why do you think I did that? King of the segue right here.
Yeah, I'm like, where's it at? I know it's in the list. I know we got one.
So
yeah.
Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Since Since COVID started, this is hysterical.
I mean, I think this was going on before COVID, but it definitely picked up during COVID, because before COVID, Bill Gates was about, vaccinations in Africa and all these other places. But I think it really hyped up during COVID because we were doing, in the US, we were doing mass vaccinations,
Yes.
which we hadn't been doing since polio and stuff like that. So, at that point, it was just the anti-vax moms who were doing them, the homeschoolers. But, the conspiracy theory has been around for a while that Bill Gates and the rest of the Illuminati are using microchips inside of vaccines to track people.
Yeah. And just for the record, the anti-vax moms with their leader and queen, Jenny McCarthy. So Bill Gates, now listen, I don't trust the man. And part of the secret mission that Colin was on was trying to find out what the hell happened to Clippy.
Yeah.
Right? The original AI.
How may I help you write your letter?
Yes, exactly. It looks like you're trying to create an outline. Would you like help with that?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's okay, Clippy.
We had AI 20 years ago. And then it just magically went away.
So the best part about this whole story is Gates' response. I don't care enough about you to want to track you.
Why would I want to track you?
Yeah.
that was great. And the whole thing about this story was he was approached by a woman on the street, I guess, and she said, "Well, you're just putting microchips in vaccines because you want to track me." And he looks at the lady and he goes, "Why would I want to track you?" That was like, oh, that's a mic drop moment. So,
oh, it absolutely is, and she probably went all Karen on him, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but.
I mean, if you want to track the Hollywood elite or the political elite, okay, that might make sense. But, Joe who changes my tires at Walmart, I don't need to track him. No.
But these same conspiracy theorists are going to be thinking, well, wait a second, though. These rich and powerful are already part of the Illuminati, so they're getting a different vaccine. They're getting a saline shot. They're not actually getting the vaccine. Now look, I am not anti-vax.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went and I got the first one way back then, mainly because my job required it. If I had to report to the office, I needed to be vaccinated. And in the rare instance that I would have to go to the office, I said, all right, fine. You know what? I'm not going to deal with this. Never got any of the updates or any of the boosters because I also got COVID. So I have always been a proponent that natural immunity, kind of like how, you build up natural antibodies, should be counted somehow towards the immunity, the group immunity. And it never was. But then later on, it came out that, somebody who had COVID but was never vaccinated has about the same amount of antibodies as somebody who got vaccinated. Okay. Well, there you go.
And that makes sense. I think the reason why they didn't count it is because there's no way to quantify it and to validate it.
That is true.
And so you'd end up with a ton of people who would say, oh, my kid had it, and so they should be able to go back to school or whatever. So,
and that's fair.
There's a logistics issue there.
Fair.
So,
and I may not quite agree with it, but it's fair. I mean,
yeah. And because I'm one of those people that I got the first one, and then I got the booster, and then I got another booster, and then I got another booster, and now I'm like, oh, it's in a needle, put it in me. As long as it's not just somebody with a trench coat on the street, just whatever, I don't care. I convinced my wife to get a shingles vaccine, so and all those things. So I'm now to the point where I'm like, oh yeah, you know what, flu shots, I'm going to start getting those. Because I was a never flu shot person, but I'm getting up there in age. And I'm like, you know what? Being sick sucks.
I'm older than you. Now, the flu shot I won't get. I got it one time, and that's the one time I got the flu. So I'm not. It's a choice. Look, you want to get it. I'm not doubting it, but the shingles vaccine, I'm getting it. When I go to my doctor in November, I'm getting it. Now that I'm 50, I've had chickenpox. The hell with this. I do not. I've seen shingles and how painful it is. I don't want it.
Right.
So give me the vax. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's just,
And I don't care if you're tracking me, okay? If you're going to track me, well, at least, if you're going to track me, fine. Just don't give my wife the GPS signal code.
Give me a coupon somewhere.
Yeah.
If you're going to track me, make me have less apps on my phones to get discounts places. Just make it more useful. I don't care.
Can you somehow tie it to my AARP membership?
Oh, that'd be nice.
I don't have to, that might be nice.
Yeah.
Do something.
So, oh man. Yeah, it's just just the idea that they want to track everybody. I'm like, no. I'll tell you what, they can't
really
track
don't.
just about everybody now because your 12-year-old has a phone. So if they want to track you, they can do it with the thing that you carry around with you nonstop anyway. They don't need to put it in a vaccine. You provided that when you got a phone number. So,
Absolutely.
People don't seem to mind giving them that information. But
all right, so jumping off of the cell phone thing, Mr. Wonderful, I got a problem with him now.
Okay.
Another celebrity, Kevin O'Leary.
Oh.
Apparently, there is a new rule where I read the article. I forget where exactly this was. I got to go back and look at the article here. Oh, in Australia. But it also has happened in France, Spain, Belgium, a lot of other countries have passed laws that allow employees to essentially turn off or disconnect from work after hours.
Yep.
Meaning your boss you are not obligated to answer your boss's email or phone call after your scheduled work hours, and they cannot retaliate against it.
Now let's be exact. It doesn't apply to all positions.
Correct. Well, it doesn't. If you're a shift worker, or if the terms of your employment state you are on call,
right? So
or have to be available. That's fine.
So
but
it could be a rotating schedule or something like that. Yeah, it can't be assumed, and it's basically it's kind of plainly referred to as the work-life balance laws.
Yes.
Okay. And when I picked up on this, it was in MoneyWise off of Yahoo Finance, and especially in America, all right, we have a big problem with work-life balance right now. All right, we are in the grind 24/7. All right, we believe that we have to be available and we have to grind it out hard if we want to be successful. But what that leads to is a very poor work-life balance. Okay, because we just think that we need to be available all the time. And there are some positions where that's true. Don't get me wrong. Okay, you're the CEO of a company, you need to be available. Okay, or if you're, maybe the only tech worker in a company, well, maybe you do need to be on call. But that isn't true for everybody, and if you are on call, you should be compensated for being available. Okay, but you should have the right to disconnect and not be accountable for that. You shouldn't be punished because you decided to take your wife out for an anniversary dinner and not be interrupted by your boss calling you. Okay. But that also means that, work should have things in place so that if something does happen after hours, the business doesn't fold up because of an issue.
Yes.
And so there's got to be a balance here. So, Kevin O'Leary is a huge critic of this idea of work-life balance and that people should be able to shut off after work and not have to answer management's calls. there has to be a compromise somewhere. All right. There, like I said, whether it's a rotating shift schedule, whether it's an on-call thing, but there has to be something because, if you think about it, back in the factory days, when you clocked out for the day, you clocked out for the day.
Well, and that's just it. Blue collar work, when you're done, you're done. Anything that is on site, service industries. Okay. Now, think about it like plumbers. Emergency calls, yes, they may be on call 24/7. If they have an emergency, somebody, the sewer backed up, middle of the night, water main broke or something. Yes, but guess what? They get adequately compensated because it's after hours, so they get time and a half or double time.
Or triple if it's on a weekend.
Or triple, yeah. So that's part of the extra compensation for being available.
Yeah.
But he's talking, his statement is, what happens if you have an event in the office and it's closed, or you have an emergency somewhere and you have to get a hold of them at 2 a.m. because it affects their job, the job they're working on. So are there emergencies? Yes, but I agree with him on that point.
It shouldn't be a constant interruption to your life.
My boss emailing me, asking me, or calling me saying, hey, listen, we have a meeting tomorrow afternoon. Can you get me a report in the morning? You don't need to call me for that.
Right.
Send me an email, and first thing in the morning, I'm going to get you that report. That's the kind of thing that I think needs to be denormalized.
Yes. Yeah.
Like my boss, love my boss. He has my personal cell phone number, but he knows it's not for work.
Right.
Right. It's more, he asked for my number so he could send me a picture one time, or, to just check on me because I wasn't feeling well, or, there was that when tropical storm was coming through, he just wanted to make sure, everything was okay. Great. That's fine. But don't take that as I can call you on that number anytime, because my personal cell phone. So there needs to be a line there. I do agree that, is this the case the government's trying to overstep its bounds? Maybe. But I also think that the younger generation is more so that, if I want to get ahead, I have to be available. I see a CEO doing this, I have to do this as well.
Well, it's really weird because I think there's a divide in the newer generation where definitely our generation is, if I got to do this to be ahead, I got to be available, right? But I think the younger generations, I think the newer generation is like, listen, family time is important. Time disconnected is important. I am going to stress having a work-life environment, and work isn't going to be the only thing that I'm doing. I think they're pushing the boundaries of being disconnected. I think they're the ones who are really fighting for this more so than we did, and definitely more so than our parents did. I think as they move into it, they're, and you can kind of see that by some of the social media posts and blog articles and some of the things that are coming out from that generation of, hey, we want a 4-day work week. Hey, we want, work from home. Hey, we want, these things, which are all about reinforcing that non-corporate, mentality.
But see here, the work from home part, it's a
slippery
the line
slope.
Easily gets blurred.
Yeah. And that's, I was going to say this. So, my staff does work from home 3 days a week, and I have had discussions with them on several times because I catch them slipping and checking things after hours and doing stuff like that. And I'm like, listen, guys, I work after hours because I have a ton of stuff to do. And since I'm in meetings all day long, I don't have time to get the stuff done that I need to get done. I said, so when I'm sending you an email after hours or shooting you a message in Teams after hours, that's not me expecting you to do things then. That's me making sure that you have to-dos when you log in the morning. All right. I'm not expecting you to pick up those things and work at them after hours. That's just me loading your plate for the next day. You know, if I have something that has to be done at night, then I will escalate as needed. And hopefully I will be able to tell you during the workday, hey, I may need you tonight, or I may need you tomorrow night, because I like to give them heads up, you know, so that they can plan. But, you know, me putting things into their inbox or into their message queue is not an expectation that things get done off hours. You know, and that's something that, you know, I'm doing.
If that's communicated, that's great. I get it. If that's the style, that's great.
So, but like I said, sometimes they slip because they're like, we want to make you happy. We want to get this done now. I'm like, no, you are not on the clock. I don't expect you to, I don't want you to work overtime on this. I want you to have family time. So, you know, yeah. It's like I put in a max of how much overtime they could work in a week, because I don't want them to, when we were working overtime, I'm like, no, 10 hours. That's it. That's all I'm going to let you work in a week. And it's not because management told me to watch my budget. It's because I didn't want them burning out. So,
and now that's a good manager, because I mean, you're kind of doing both. I mean, underhand, the backside of that is, you're maintaining a budget. You're setting a limit on budget, but see, the fact that you have hourly employees, that makes it a whole even more. My whole team is salary.
Yeah.
So that work-life balance really comes into play. I've been on calls at 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll step away, or if I'm on that late, I come in later the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
If I can.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of play that game, like flex time, at least within the limits of what the company will allow. The other thing with the younger generation, though, is if they don't have that work-life balance, the mentality is, oh, well, I'll just go find another job.
Yeah.
And not for nothing. I mean, look at me.
Yeah.
I'm not jumping ship as easily.
Yeah,
Right?
I know the feeling.
There's a balancing act on that side too.
Yeah.
I think it's out of line though when people who are like the head of the company are like, well, you know what? When you're a CEO, you've got ridiculous responsibilities. I get that. But you're not going to be a CEO forever. And when you leave, if you're good, when you leave, you're set for life.
Yeah, you got your golden parachute.
You got the golden parachute, okay? So the work-life balance, if I had to work 15-hour days, 6 days a week for 10 years, and that meant that I could then retire and be done and have all of these benefits, I'd do it.
Mm-hmm.
So the perspective is different.
Yeah. Totally. 100%.
Mr. Wonderful. Mr. Senseless is what you are. I always like Damon better anyway than Mark.
I was not a Dragon's Den or Sharks, I just didn't care for those shows. I just didn't.
I did it first. But then when a lot of the stuff just basically became like GoFundMe type things, like
mm-hmm.
I gave up on that. And when it was cool for a while when they had like rotating sharks, like Richard Branson was on there a couple of times, and before Mark Cuban was a regular, when he came in as a guest a couple of times, and I think once or twice they may have had celebrities. Like I think Shaq may have been there once, or maybe I'm thinking of Hot Ones. I don't know.
I don't know. Shaq does a lot.
Shaq does way too freaking much.
Well, you
want to talk about a man that hustles, and this is not on the white sheet, but there was an article about him since the last show where he basically told his kids, "You want any part of your inheritance, of the fortune that I've amassed, you better come to me with 2 college degrees."
Yeah, well, he just did an interview not that long ago, and he was talking about he was talking to another player, and he was talking about taking care of himself. He was talking to Jason Kelsey, actually, about retirement, because I guess Jason Kelsey is thinking about retiring. And so
Jason did retire.
Okay. And so he was talking about taking care of his family, keeping his eye on what's important. And it started this whole conversation about what's going on with Shaq. You know, because Shaq was really seemed like down during that interview. And one of the comments in the interview that Shaq made was, I'm in a 100,000 square foot house all by myself. And one, that's a killer house. But, you know, it comes out that, you know, he cheated on his wife. Shaq divorced his wife and mother of his children, Shawnee Henderson, in 2009, when his career was coming to an end. And since then, he's been publicly open about the fact that he repeatedly cheated on his wife while they were married. And Shaq's never remarried after that. The divorce and the surrounding issue caused a rift between himself and his wife and children that still exists to today. So, you know, he is, while, we see him on everything, and while, he seems like he's got it together because of everything he's involved in, personally.
No. I never said he...
Well, I mean, just
financially.
You see him on TV and everything, and he comes off as this happy-go-lucky guy. But, you know, he's got a ton of emotional baggage with it. And it says that he's starting to reconcile with his kids now, but, you know, he missed out on their whole childhood.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Well, listen, I'm going to say it. Mental health is health. All right.
Yeah.
Mental health care is health care. And we've touched on it on the show about, you know, personally, how we've all dealt with it.
Yeah.
Nothing is so bad that you're alone.
Yeah.
All right. And for someone to hear that from somebody like Shaq, and you're right, presents this image that everything is great, and he's like, the guy keeps busy. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been a smart investor, and he has set himself up post NBA career.
Yeah.
That being said, got demons, and he's working through them, and I'm glad to hear that. I wish more high-profile folks like him, other athletes, I wish they would come out and say, hey, listen, I struggle too.
Yeah.
It might normalize that.
Yeah.
Because I'm sick of going on Instagram and seeing everybody so happy-go-lucky and all these stories. And, you know, it sets an unrealistic goal of what life's supposed to be like. It ain't all that.
I tell you what, the memes I love to see and the reels I love to see on Facebook and Instagram are always the Instagram life reality, you know, where they show you the Instagram picture of, you know, them and like the Dead Sea or this amazing location. And then you see what it looked like without all the filters and without all the editing and without everything else. Yeah. And you go, oh, that's a crap hole. You know, it's horrible. You know, so that you go, oh, you know what? My life, not too bad. You know, you know, when you see that person who's in their camper van, you know, looking out the back at the sunshine, what you don't see is out the front window, they're in a Walmart parking lot. So, you know, just remember that when you see somebody's Instagram life, they're showing you what they want to show you, not everything else.
Exactly.
Speaking about showing you things, police are towing Teslas. Did you see this article, Mike?
I saw it and I was like, what the hell?
According to the San Francisco Chronicle, Oakland area police officers have begun towing Tesla vehicles as a source of potential evidence. Not of like things that happened to the Tesla, but as things that happen to around the Tesla. Because the Teslas have so many cameras, and because of their Sentry Mode function where they record events occurring around the vehicle, police have started to tow away the vehicles in order to get their security camera footage for events occurring around the vehicle, unbeknownst to the vehicle owners.
Now, how is this legal?
I don't know, but when would that ever stop the police in some cases?
Look, okay, now listen. There's a murder in the parking lot, and there happens to be a Tesla out there that may have had, okay, you know what? Something like that, I could understand.
Well, I mean, it would be no different than if you... But
contact the owner.
Well, yeah, because if it happened outside of a house and that somebody happened to have a Ring doorbell, you'd go up and ask for the footage.
Exactly.
You wouldn't seize the house.
Or would they? I don't know.
Maybe they would.
Ask me that question in December after the election. We'll see who happens. Well, maybe my answer will be different.
Oh. But,
no. I don't understand. Like, all right, so everybody has heard of or knows, like, you know, a friend's car got hit in the parking lot and they left a note. Somebody left a note. Like, I'm sorry. What happens if the police take your Tesla? How do they leave you a note? How?
Just in the spot, just a post-it note on the ground in the spot.
Like, and what if somebody parks in that spot? Like, okay,
imagine.
Well, okay, my Tesla suddenly became an F-150. What happened?
Imagine this.
Explain that Elon.
You come out of the store. Your Tesla's gone. So you call the police. Yes, I'd like to report a carjacking, a car robbery. I went into the store. I came out. My Tesla's not there anymore. Oh, you have it. Can I have it back? No, I can't have it back. Will you at least call me an Uber?
Tell me,
no.
You're gonna tell me that there's no way for them to get this footage without towing the vehicle?
I think if they just contacted the owner, he could export it for them.
Probably.
And gosh,
if not, Elon, you're working on the wrong shit. Fix this problem, dude. Those people up there on the space station can stay there another week or two. Fix this problem.
He's too busy smoking doobs with Joe Rogan. Yeah, it's just crazy.
Yes, we're all aware that you are the EV master of Bucksport, Maine. So yes, that's what we're saying. Get the cloud drive, but that would involve a warrant. Whereas they could just tow the damn vehicle, and it's probably why they're being lazy.
Mm-hmm. So,
I thought the ghosts were gone.
Nope. Let's talk before we get into our movie, which we got to get into, but it's just the two of us, so it shouldn't take real long, especially considering the movie.
Oh, it's not going to take long.
Let's talk about something else which seemed to have been extremely hated. This woman, this Florence Flo Harrelson, 65, from Glenburn, evidently not a very well-liked woman. Now, we have talked about some viral obituaries before, all right? Some people were not so well-liked before, but I don't know that we have ever found one which is this, it's not gruesome. It is just curt. Let's put it that way. So Florence Flo Harrelson death announcement. 65, formerly of Chelsea, died on February 22nd, 2024, without family by her side due to burnt bridges and a wake of destruction left in her path. Florence did not want an obituary or anyone, including family, to know she died. That's because even in death, she wanted those she terrorized to still be living in fear, looking over their shoulders. So this isn't so much an obituary, but more of a public service announcement.
Oh God, that's in Maine too.
Yeah. Christina Mills wrote, "Let's be clear, it's a PSA and it's no joke. It was written with sarcasm and relief, but it's real." It was done in 4 sentences because I refused to spend another dollar on that woman.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, wow. So her brother Bill was on Maine Cabin Masters. Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Now, a death notice from the crematorium. Now, okay, so this is interesting.
She only found out her mother was dead because it had been quiet.
Well, all right, so this is interesting. It's been too quiet, so she did some digging, and the crematorium put up a death notice. Now, there was a gentleman from my past that I used to work with way back when I was in high school. And I know he had gotten into some trouble for some things. And I wound up Googling him once or twice. And last year, it popped up that he was on a registry for something that he shouldn't have done. And it popped up that his record was inactive, deceased.
Mm-hmm.
And there's because of what he had done. I guess when nobody cares, nobody writes your obituary.
Mm-hmm.
Which was that's a harsh reality. I never thought about that until now. Now, when they said there's a death notice from the crematorium, I'm like, well, Jesus, is he laying in like a mass ditch somewhere now?
Could be, because now obituaries are not free. They cost. And so if you want an obituary now, you have to pay, and it's per word, at least here. And for like John Doe's and homeless here, they do go into, I believe, a state sanctioned. Well, actually, I think they're cremated, and then the remains.
They're probably cremated.
Yeah,
but there's got to be some kind of death record.
Yeah, there's a
right.
Well, yeah, it's recorded with the county.
So, like, I tried to find some kind of notice, and apparently everybody abandoned him because.
Yeah. Yep.
It was sad, but it was also kind of striking. Like, get you thinking. Like, okay, who's going to write my obituary? And then that don't start having those thoughts while you're drinking. Trust me, because it don't end well.
Well, we wrote those one time, if you remember.
Our obituaries?
Yeah, we wrote them.
I don't remember writing an obituary.
Yeah,
probably did, but I don't remember it.
They were pretty obscure, but yeah, we wrote.
Oh well, of course. They were probably about as focused as when we did a bit way back in the day when I was on that other show. We did a bit where we wrote our own riders, like if we were like concert riders.
I think we've also written our own speeches for president.
Yes,
you know.
None of which are depressing, like an obituary.
No, but yeah. All right, another thing which was depressing, which we will talk about now. We will finally get to the movie review that we have for this evening, and we will get.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the
oven
real quick before we do the movie review about who passed away today.
Oh yeah, we do need to talk about that.
We do need to just mention it.
Yeah, somebody who wasn't hated, who was I think universally loved.
For the most part, unless your name is, I don't know, Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah, or dude who got choked out on the Death Star.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so James Earl Jones passed away today at the age of 93.
Yeah.
Truly an icon from our generation.
You know what's sad? When I read that, I didn't think about Star Wars. I didn't think about the baseball one. A Field of Dreams. I thought about his cameo in Big Bang Theory.
That's exact. Kim said the exact same thing.
I thought about
she wasn't into any of his other movies. She was like, or like The Lion King.
Yeah.
Kim said no. He was his cameo. His part in Big Bang was amazing.
Just that line. I bet you like Star Wars. Yes, I like Star Wars too.
Yeah,
It was so funny to see him act like a complete goober because he didn't in anything else.
Yeah, and you had the other great Carrie Fisher in that episode too.
Yeah, you don't even think about him in Coming to America either.
That's right.
He was in that. I mean, he was in a lot of good things.
Oh,
so
The Sandlot.
Yes,
was another one.
He was in Conan the Barbarian.
That's right. He was Tulsa Doom.
He was in The Hunt for Red October.
Yes. The Eye was never here.
Yep. Let's see here. What else was he in? He was in. He was in Doctor Strangelove, evidently. He was in.
It's funny.
He was in the Benchwarmers. Oh, Sneakers. Oh, how did I forget he was in Sneakers? God, he was so good in that. That was a good movie. If you haven't watched it, watch it.
There was a movie that he was in. He was in. Oh well, his voice, Rogue One. I was like, wait, what? Yeah, he was in Field of Dreams. You're right.
Best of the Best. He was in that.
Yes.
It's great.
2.5 Men. He was in an episode of that. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
There was a movie he was in way back.
Soul Man. He was in Soul Man.
Was he?
Yeah.
Was he the professor?
Yes, he was. He was also the dad of the girl that he was dating.
That's right. He was in The Meteor Man.
Oh God, yes he was. He was the guy who lived in the basement.
Okay.
Or no, he wasn't. He was the guy who played the records. That's who he was. Bill Cosby was the guy who lived in the basement.
Okay. It's been a while since I saw it, so I have to take your word for it. Oh, bro. Let's. Jesus of Nazareth, really? He was in that? I hate going back this far. Good Lord, it makes me realize just how much he was in. Okay, why? I must have missed it somewhere, but the Bingo Long Traveling All-Stars and Motor Kings. That was the baseball movie I thought you were talking about.
Oh, no.
All right, so okay, we met. Rest in peace, James Earl Jones.
Yep.
You will be missed. You'll never be forgotten.
Yep.
And from that greatness, let's go to
let's go to the horribleness.
Horrible.
That is the movie Tooken. Now this is available if you wish to watch it on Amazon Prime. So if you really want a movie for free, then you can watch it. But Mike, tell us your critical review of Tooken.
All right, so I should start here by saying I've never seen the movie Taken, which this movie is a spoof of. We'll see if this helps me or hurts me as we get into it, because I have nothing to compare it to. But already, I'm hating on this movie for killing 2 puppies in the name of humor. Then they try to get me back into this movie using the logic of butt sex ain't real sex. Put that along with Girls Gone Stupid, and I'm starting to feel like this is a universe that I might want to live in. Oh, and there's Jenny McCarthy. Now, I'm also going to say I'm not a fan of Lee Tergenson's accent coming in and out during this film, but I guess it's needed to poorly imitate Liam Neeson's accent. Now, I'm at the part of the movie where Big Chocolate proposes to Tergenson's ex-wife. Movie is starting to come off as a bad attempt at a scary movie style spoof. They even got the great value version of Anna Faris to play Ferguson's daughter. Now, maybe this ain't my cup of tea, but there ain't no way I'm tapping out on this. By the way, Jenny McCarthy was in this movie for less than 2 minutes. Why the hell is she credited in the IMDb page? Now the guy's all by himself in the apartment, except for the dog. He's testing this experimental Uber boner pill, and the dog explodes. What? What? It's nice to see during the flashback scene that Lee held on to his outfit from his role in Wayne's World. And now, why in the hell is his ex-wife wearing a chicken costume? Oh, wait, is the implication because her black boyfriend likes to eat chicken? We're not even halfway through this movie. Now, Granny went in, planted all the bugs in Big Chocolate's house. Nobody thought to take the security cameras down or edit them out in the mansion, so nobody saw Granny. And by the way, down there in the restaurant, that is not Akon singing. That is Michael Blackson, another one who got credited on the IMDb page, but he didn't say a damn word. And then Akon shows up after the stupid dancing. These two were in the movie for less than a minute, but they get a full credit on the IMDb page. This is what's wrong with Hollywood today. Here comes Margaret Cho. She's looking like the bad love child of Dr. Evil and Mr. Chow. And she's playing a man. Okay. And her evilness is she stuffs bombs into every little dog. What? And then the ending of this. Dude, listen. Puke. I got to give this a puke. I want to give it a Kill It With Fire, but I feel like I would be wrong giving two movies in a row that we reviewed Kill It With Fires. Yeah, there's no reason to watch this movie. None whatsoever. If you want to watch Taken, watch Taken. There's like 17 of them by now. If you want to watch a spoof, watch Scary Movie. There's like 30 of those. Naked Gun. I know what you did last Halloween when the leaves were falling. There's all of those spoofs out there. Go watch them. Do not watch this. Just don't.
Yeah. I am going to agree with everything that Mike said. The Tooken hurt to watch. Physically pained me to watch. I was millimeters away from pulling the ripcord. It was so painfully bad. I mean, it is. I don't even know how it gets a 21% on Rotten Tomatoes. It doesn't make sense that it's that high. All right. This
I don't know either.
And has over 50 ratings. You know, this just does. This is beyond. You know, Big Chocolate is the only thing that is kind of funny about this whole film. The fact that he kept getting his arm progressively torn off more and more and blown up and whatever. Those are the only funny parts in the whole show, and they are 100% predictable. So it is not relatable whatsoever. No. And I will say the only other funny part is the the airplane sex scene at the end. That is also somewhat funny. Only mildly, but also 100% expected. So, I am in the same boat as Mike. I do not want to give back-to-back Kill It With Fires, but although this movie strongly deserves it, I will give it a puke as well. If you are up for a parody, I strongly advise something like Superfast or, the Starving Games or something, better for a parody. This is not a good parody. There are many, many, many other ones that you could watch instead. So yeah, don't watch this movie. This is bad. It's really bad. So, all right. With that said,
what are we at? We are at 1 to 26. And for the record, before we pick, Colin, even though he is sick, hopefully he will be better in 2 weeks because he's on point.
Okay, good.
Unless it's a booby pick, and then Shaggy's on point. But go ahead.
All right. Well, I was going to see if we wanted to, pull one from the latest list or, if there was anything particular that we wanted to pull out and watch so that we had a break from the stupidity. Because we've had 2 really bad ones in a row.
We have.
So I thought we might be up for something good. I was looking at maybe
really not in our wheelhouse, but okay.
I had been recommended The Union on Netflix.
Oh God, is that Marky Mark and?
It is Marky Mark and Halle Berry and J.K. Simmons. We don't have to. I'm just throwing it out there.
I mean, we can. That's.
Oh, if you don't want to, we don't have to. I think it's on the list, but we can always wait until we get.
No,
around
it's
to it.
actually not on the list, so we.
Oh,
can
it might be
do
too
that.
new for the list.
Let me look at something real quick because there are
others on the list that are good too.
Let me just see latest. Well, The Union is one. I was going to say Atlas, but no, hell no.
I've already watched it.
The other one that I was thinking was Hitman.
Hitman? Oh, that one looked pretty good too, I think. But that
it's
is
a dark
on...
comedy with Glenn been in everything lately.
A mild-mannered professor moonlights as a
a
fake hitman in what the New York Times hails as one of the year's funniest, sexiest, and most enjoyable movies. Huh. That looks good. We could do that if you wanted.
I mean, we can. I'll tell you what. Since Colin is not here to provide input, which one do you think he would be more comfortable with?
The Hitman has language throughout, sexual content, and some violence. It's rated R, whereas opposed to the other one is PG-13. So take that as you will.
Well, okay, so let's look at this other option here. The Union is an hour and 49 minutes.
The other one's like an hour 30?
An hour 55.
Okay.
So, all right, let's just do The Union. That's fine.
Okay. We'll do The Union, and then maybe we'll just queue up Hitman for next time. So we'll run them both. That way we'll get a little bit of a break from the insanity.
Okay. That's fair.
because we have had 2 real stinkers.
Yeah, we watched 2 movies that nobody should have watched, let alone back to back.
Yeah, they were really bad. Really bad. So, all right. Well, I hate to say it, but I think with that said, we are pretty much done.
Yeah. With
tonight's show. So, hopefully, folks, that means we'll be back on the 23rd. And, as Colin, as far as we know, Colin will be back on the 23rd. So we hope him a speedy recovery. And we hope that you all will continue to listen. You can always check out ptrradio.com. It's got all of our archives over 10 years worth of shows. If you want to listen to the backlog. All
that
told,
is so hard to believe.
All told, this is it's even more than that. I just know for sure 10 years on the podcast. We have a lot more than that total, So, we want to thank everybody that is listening, and we also want to make sure that you guys, try and spread the word a little bit. Get us a few more listeners if you don't mind. And, we enjoy every one of you. We don't grow unless you help the show. So, but with that, really, not much else that I can say other than thank you so much. Mike, anything for you?
No, nothing else. Nothing here.
All right, folks. Well, stick a fork in us because we are done. We will see you all on the 23rd. Thanks a bunch.